Hey guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. It's Alia Couture. Today we're going to be doing a short tutorial on how to cut this beautiful multi-styled 3-piece set. So for the first part, we'll be cutting the trouser. We'll fold our trouser into two, our material into two. For this, I'm using the black crepe, and then we're taking our measurements. Now, first going with the waist measurements. For this, I'm using 8 as the waist measurement. That's the waist circumference divided by 4. And then I'm adding 1 inch allowance. And then I'm taking the hip line. I'm taking 9. And then I'm going to measure on this hip line. I'm going to measure the hip measurement. The hip measurement for my client here is 40. So I'm going to be using 10 inches here divided by 40 inches rather divided by 4. That's 10. Then I'm going to be adding 2 inches, and then we proceed to connect it using for this I'm just going to be using my free hand. I couldn't access my curves and all of that, so this is a free hand cutting. All right, pardon me. So I'm connecting the from the 2-inch allowance I took, I'm connecting it to the waist measurement. That's the 1 inch I added to the waist measurement. And then for this, I'm taking the round lap. The round lap of my client is 23. So I'm going to be using 11.5 plus 2 inches allowance. And then I'm going to connect it from the crotch line, that's that hip line, down. The length of my trouser is length 40. And I added 2 inches allowance for folding and all of that. So I'm sorry my camera couldn't cover that. The angle is not very clear, but I just had to feel that in the video. So I'm going to draw this line straight down, making sure that the measurement is the same along all through the trouser, from the top, from the waistline, from the crotch line down to the base. All right. So once we're done marking, we proceed to cut out. So we're cutting out from the waist down to the crotch line, and we're proceeding to the bottom as well. Alright, now we're done cutting the first part. Now we'll proceed to measure. This is a very optional step. You can decide. Most people do not put the hip curve on the side of their trousers. Most people do. If you're sewing a baggy trouser, like a normal baggy trouser with Ankara, you do not necessarily have to put this hip curve. Like I do. I don't usually put this hip curve for my baggy trousers, but I want this trouser to be fitted at the hip, so I'm gonna put the hip curve. And just follow the prompt, follow what I'm doing. I took out 1/2 inch allowance from the hip line down, so I'm taking all of that out. And then from the waist, I took out 1 inch allowance to give it that slant, curved, aesthetics. So after cutting, we're proceeding to cut the back piece. So you place the front piece on top the material that has been folded into two. You can decide to use 1 piece of the front, or you can put the 2 pieces of the front on top of the newly folded material. And then we're adding 1.5 inch to the crotch line. From the crotch line to the waist, we're adding 1.5 inch at the top, and then we're forming a slant. So we're adding 1.5 inch to that line, and we're taking out 1/2 inch from this line, from the waistline, from where we took out the hip curve. All right, we're going down by 1/2 inch, and then we're drawing the slant down. I hope that makes sense. And then we're proceeding to add 2 inch allowance to the crotch depth. We're adding 2 inch allowance there all the way down. Just watch what I'm doing and follow through. once we're done cutting the trouser, we'll proceed to the top. Now for the top, we just fold our material into 4 equal parts. Alright, for this I'm using the length of 28 inches and a length of 16 inches and a depth, that's the wideness of the gown of the dress, is going to be 28 inches. And so we're taking our neck depth. We're going to be using 3.5 inch for the neck depth, and then we're going to be using 5.5 inch for the length or the width, whichever one is fine. So you do that and then you connect. Now this is to allow the neckline to be wide enough so that you can always alternate it. Now if you look at the thumbnail, you'll see that there are different ways to style this piece. So if your neck depth is not big enough, if your neckline is not wide enough, you cannot be able to give it these different styles. And so from the neckline down there, we're going to be having like 23 inches left. That will be able to fall so if you style it in the way that it's going to fall in front, it's going to come down onto your waist, your hip line. I don't know if that makes sense, but anyway, we're going to see the finished look and then you appreciate this tutorial better. So yeah, basically you just have to cut out the neckline, open up the shoulders, and that's it. For this top, it's pretty easy. It's very, very easy. You don't have to do any bust measurement, you just need to know the desired length, or where does your client want the length to be. The client wants it to be just at her navel, so that's why I use 16 inches. Alright, if your client wants it lower, if you want it lower for yourself, you can use 17, 18, 19, 20 depending on your height. So it all depends on your preference. Okay, so follow through. Alright, so basically for this part, we're just cutting out the facing for our our front piece and our back piece. Now you can decide to use a facing, you can also decide to do normal piping, either with the material or with the bias tape, and then you just proceed. Whichever one you prefer, you do that. I prefer to use facing, so that's why I'm cutting out the facing. It's a very integral part of my cutting process. So basically that's just it. And apologies, the tutorial for the inner part, that's the elastic innerwear, is not in this video, but I promise that in the next video where I'll be showing the process, the sewing process, that tutorial is going to be there. Basically it's just a very simple process, but I'm still going to show you for those that would like to see. Just leave a comment in the comment section and I'm still going to put it out there. So yeah, this is me basically just cutting out the facing, ensuring that it's equal and good enough for use. So yeah, if you want to see more of my videos, please do well to click the subscribe button, like, follow, share, and see you in my next video. Bye bye.